You know something's truly degenerate when you don't know how you can safely talk about it on YouTube without being age restricted, but I'll give it an honest shot. So in the Legendary Hero is Dead episode 4, we have our main character Toka, who is in the Legendary Hero's body, who has passed away after episode 1. But given his low mana, he isn't able to repair his body or do much in said body. Here you have a princess who has a condition that, as we learn, if she gives her bodily fluids to someone, it can help them with their issues when it comes to their lack of mana. So this includes tears, this includes sweats, this includes number ones. And by the end of episode 4, they commit to it, and I don't remember the last time I saw something this degenerate in a TV anime, but she straps in for a golden moment, and then the credits play. This show is wild, man. Full live reaction available on my Patreon. I was not expecting this level of degeneracy, but goddamn, this show is wild. It is unapologetically insane, dumb, pervy, but then there's these like legit moments of seriousness, and the way they blend it into this weird oddball package has me saying there ain't no way they went stranger than Harem in the Labyrinth in Another World. But episode 4 just went more intense than Harem in a Labyrinth in Another World. This show it's wild, man. So the cat gets out of the bag way sooner than I was expecting. The princess learns that not only is her fiance and the person she was kind of promised to since childhood dead, also, her entire reason for existing seemingly went up in flames. We learned that basically her late mother seemingly promised her to be saved so she wouldn't be married off for political reason, seemingly didn't agree to that once it came to that they needed someone for political marriage, and her entire life has been surrounded by this marriage. And to have someone now be an imposter and more or less remove, it's almost like ripping off a band-aid and causing her to bleed out. She doesn't know what to do with her life, and in comes Perv Bones, who basically, he's trying to argue that the reason he wants everyone as a skeleton is so it's equal rights, but you can't say that with a straight face when you're also huffing skeletons. Like, you can't say you're trying to help the world, but also seemingly be sexually aroused by skeleton bones. Like, you can't have both. Like, you can't have your cake and eat it too. I mean, what he's saying at, like, surface level, it's like some weird necromancer BS, but at the very least you can follow the train of thought. He sees bones, he sees through people, you're like, oh, why is there this discrimination? Why is this hatred in this world? If everyone looked the same, then it would go up in flames. If that's all we saw this character do, we would say, damn bro, you're messed in the head, but I can understand your logic even though we completely disagree. But we rewind the prior episode, he's like looking, he's rubbing you, he's saying, these bones were made for something. We're like, okay bro, you need to get the hell out of here. Whether he gets killed and we resolve this conflict with him within the next couple of episodes, or he becomes a long-term antagonist, this dude is messed up, but that's what makes a villain or any character that you want to see buried 6 feet under a memorable antagonist, is when they can disturb you and equally make you as frightened as the characters being felt up by Stranger McDanger. I love the fact that they're having more fun with the skeleton humor than I was initially expecting. I don't think I can recall, I mean, I probably have seen it at least one time, but I can't off the top of my head. Anytime a character's been a skeleton, whether it's a joke, a comedy joke, or they've been turned into a skeleton, I can't remember the last time I've heard a character acknowledge that their head coming off in like a humorous fashion actually hurt them. But I kind of like that, because at one point, basically, his head goes flying, there's like this wiener dog that's playing soccer with him, and then he ends up motorboating this one hot female knight here, and by the end, he's like, do you really think I would do that on purpose? That hurt. And it's a little moment, not many people are going to care about it, but I like those little moments that can say, okay, we've seen skeleton characters before, we've seen this type of fantasy setting before, but it's those little moments that say, okay, this is a pervy, raunchy, degenerate show, no one can argue. Half the time, Yuna isn't even in clothes, and she's wearing as little as possible, so that the figure line of her character can sell like hotcakes. We're not trying to argue this isn't degenerate. However, there are these aspects that make it more interesting than just, here's the next pervy shot and dumb comedy joke. There is more to it, but I think the star attraction are those moments in the way they blend it into what should be a more typical hero fantasy show, turns into pervert farmer, and honestly, you can give him a serious backstory. Dad took you with your mom to this like place so you could raid the village. Mom ends up dead, dad goes to get a pack of smokes, and for a year you're trying to get back home. Serious, it sucks, it does explain maybe his creative thinking, But it doesn't change the fact that he's a perv himself and they don't try to excuse his perverted actions, and I love that about this show. The princess story though, man, like, I mean, they clearly were having fun. They had like some BBW thick thigh jokes last week. I mean, he was reconsidering marriage once he saw her get plump. They do clearly have fun, but there ain't no way. There ain't no way that she actually straddled his face like that. And how do you animate that? If they actually commit to that, do they do a comedy direction where we just see like a yellow like splash or something? I don't know. But I have to admit, that is one of my biggest dumbfound moments, because you just don't expect that level of perviness in a show like this. Like, it's not to say that's the most pervy thing you could do in your life. No, it's the fact that for a show that's all about like, ooh, he puts like stockings on vegetables so it looks like thighs. Yeah, they have perverted humor, they strip down characters, but I wasn't expecting a golden shower moment. And the fact that they committed so hard to it, I'm blown away, man. That is just baffling. Like, I'm not here to say The Legendary Hero is Dead is a critical masterpiece, the best written thing since Cowboy Bebop or anything. But I will say it is an insanely entertaining show, and the way they blend what should be a typical hero fantasy into like, okay, we gotta go fight these enemies. Here's these mechanics, here's these like interesting enough world aspects that say, okay, it's not completely shallow level, there's enough here to tell a story if you want to get more serious. But the star attraction, and I think the main thing people will talk about with this show, are the pervy funny moments. And honestly, let's not shy away from them. We know what this show is at the end of the day, but god damn, like, we're only 4 episodes in. If anything, I thought they maybe would have built a little more into it. Like, yeah, we got some creepiness with the bone man who wants like skeletons, and he's like got a skeleton harem, raising a princess since childhood seemingly to want to marry her as a skeleton. It's just, there's a lot of weirdness, man, but just the fact that, you know, we have snot jokes, he's trying to lick her sweat. They could have easily went kissing. That's a bodily fluid, saliva. He could have easily just had, hey, just make out with the skeleton. That could have been like a funny, awkward scene. And they just went straight to face sitting. And I'm like, bruh, this show, there ain't no way this show just did that. There ain't no way. But man, The Legendary Hero is Dead ain't playing, and I'm here for it. You know sometimes how you'll have these moments in anime where you just want to show it to someone who's not watching the anime? Episode 4 at the very end is what I'd want to show. Like, starting from the moment where he makes them walk in a circle, I would just show those 2 minutes to someone, anime fan or not, and say, hey, watch this with me. What do you think? And just watch their eyes be like, nah, they ain't gonna go that direction. And then when it does, you just are like, there ain't no way. I'm a degenerate, this show's a degenerate, and I'm here for it. Thoughts and feelings down below. Drop a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around here, ring that bell, of course, so you get notified when I upload on the channel. And like I mentioned, we do have a full live reaction available on my Patreon. And while you're there, you can also get a video shout out. So today, we have Tom Smith, Kirky, Pranay Someshwar, and T Vermillion. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care and have a good one.